Oh my gosh, I'm live. Look at that. This is so great. It's so exciting. Make sure my hat doesn't look all crazy. How you guys doing? I got a big one for you today. Got a hot one for you today. I have been giving a lot of thought, as I always do, to the questions of how do I help you? What are you missing? What are the things? Oh, let me actually back up and ask you this. Have you ever gone into the world of a guru or a high level coach or something, and you consume their material and you try to implement, you try to execute, and you at a certain point you just start getting the feeling that they're not telling you something? Can you relate to that? If you can relate to that, just make some kind of noise in the comments. Thumbs up emoji. I don't care if it's a poop emoji. Just let me know if you can relate to that, because this sleight of hand is omnipresent in the coaching and internet marketing space, right? It's always there's one more secret. There's one more thing. In fact, you guys may know that my absolute best buddy in the whole world, Russell Brunson, just released a new book that he calls Linchpin, which he claims and promises is the final secret. Now, I'd like to put that in context for you, because that's basically what he said about .com secrets. And then the next book after that, like internet marketing secrets, or I don't know, secrets of whatever. But the point is this: if you're not able to recognize that is manipulative behavior, right? You already told me you were giving me the secret, and now you come out with another book that is supposed to be the actual secret. You need to be saying to yourself, what the hell? What the fuck? Because it's such bald-faced manipulation and lying that oftentimes we don't even recognize it for what it is, because it's so in our faces. So this isn't maybe unusually for me. This live stream is not about bashing Russell or any of the other guys or girls specifically, but more so I want to help you see that the way the manipulation works, right? And the way the misdirection works. So you can't say this first book is all the secrets you need to making money online, and then release 2 more books that claim to be the actual secret to making money online, right? Or helping your coaching business, or whatever it is you want to do. And so what is it that that is missing when you start to recognize and feel like, oh, there's something missing here? I am doing everything you told me to do, Mr. or Mrs. Guru, and I'm clearly not getting the same results as you. So what is it? Now, this would normally be the part in the process where they would step in and they would gaslight you. Now, I'm sure all of you either have had firsthand or know someone who has been told by a coach, after paying tons of money for some whatever program, mastermind, service, they say, it's your scarcity mindset, or you're in lack consciousness, or something like that, right? They turn it around and they blame it on you when they have promised to give you the answer, and you paid them for the answer, and the answer was not the answer. Well, so I'm always in the process of trying to get deeper and deeper and more distilled. I'm always in the process of trying to do what is called separating the wheat from the chaff, whatever it's called, right? It's the part of the wheat you don't eat, right? The wheat is the good stuff. The little skin around it is bad. Wheat, chaff, etc. Boom. Now you have a new tagline or thing you can use. The point is this: if you are a coach, expert, service provider, freelancer, anyone who is taking your expertise and trying to make money online by helping people with what you're an expert at, oh baby, is this for you? Okay, so now we've got the high level out of the way. Here is the thing that is missing. And caveat, if I, in my searching and my journeying, find something deeper than this, I will share that with you, right? One of the things about me is I want to get to the truth, and I'm agnostic. I don't get romantic about sort of one thing. I just care about results. I care about ethics, and I care about knowing that I'm doing the best I can to help you. That's my values. That's what I'm about. And speaking of values and what I'm about, when I get on calls with people, I hear the same thing over and over and over again. Why are you on this call? Well, I'm on this call because you're a no bullshit guy. You're a straight shooter. You tell it like it is. Those things are true, but there's a thing here underneath that, right? There's a thread that you may not be perceiving, and here it is. I have spent effort, time, money, bandwidth, refining what my personal brand is about. My personal brand can be narrowed down to 3 words. My personal brand is truth over profits. That's what I stand for. You know, I would imagine that at some point there'll be somebody cynical who watches this video who views what I just said cynically. And I can't change that for you or about you other than to say, you've either been burned so much that maybe you need to get out of this space, or maybe you're just a cynical person and I don't really want to have you in my life anyway, because an overabundance of cynicism is, I'd rather have warts on my ass than an overabundance of cynicism in my life. Okay, so good. We got that settled? Great. Let's talk about your personal brand. Most of the time when you talk about personal brand, here's what people think a personal brand is. They think it is their logo and or their website and or their color palette and or some sort of templated headline type sentence about who they help, what they do for them, and what, it's like, I help X achieve Y even if they've never Z, or I help X achieve Y in Z amount of time, right? And so it's this clear shout out of like, I help you if you fit this, I help you achieve this outcome, and I help you do it with or without thing that you either really want or don't want, respectively. Those are not your brand. Those are headlines, right? And so your logo is not your brand. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say here something you're probably not going to want to hear. Your logo is completely irrelevant unless and until you get to the soul of your brand. So that's what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about what is the soul of your brand and how do you find it? And then how do you execute on it? At this point, the more astute and sharper minded among you are saying, why do I need that? And that's the right question to ask. Here's why. You need it because in the world you operate in, which is obviously the world of the online marketing, coaching, make money online, whatever space, you're here. And that means that you operate in the social media online space and you try to get clients from social media, right? Now, you really need to stop and think about that for a minute, because here's the funny thing. You are both the person trying to attract clients, and you're also a prospect for other people who are trying to attract clients like you. So you're both. Every time you show up on social media, you're playing both roles. And so what that means is no matter what you do, there are only 2 realistic categories for what you want to coach in, or what you do coach in or teach or help with. One category is you're in a big group full of other people who have the same offer. I mean, I defy you to name me a kind of coaching that doesn't either have a whole bunch of people offering it Or, and this is the other group, it's so obscure, it's so niche down, it's so random that it's never going to work anyway. Okay? There's only two groups. There is no such thing as really having a unique service that people want. There are ways to make your service feel unique. And there are what I would think of as esoteric characteristics and qualities that you can attach to it. And this is where your personal brand comes in. I really hope you're taking notes on this or recording it or something, because I mean, like my stuff usually is, this is giving away the goods here. This is the reality of what you need to be focused on. So why a personal brand? Well, in an effort to answer that question, let me ask you a question. How much do you enjoy the race to the bottom of competing on price, features, and benefits? I don't know how long ago it was that Alex Hormozy did his big, now infamous "It Broke the Internet" webinar, where he promoted his new book and he told everybody how to make irresistible offers. And what did he say? Really, at the end of the day, what did he say? He said, put a wild guarantee on it. He said, put an obscenely ridiculous kind of a guarantee on it. And then what happened? We were flooded with the most brain dead, most clearly unenforceable or unsupportable, wild, just freewheeling guarantees from every corner of the internet. We had people saying, I'll build you. Now, this is a great one. I'll build you a 6-figure a month agency, or I'll keep working with you until I do. Now, just think about that for a second, because you need some critical thinking, right, in assessing these things. Let's say that person who made that offer got 20 people to say yes. Now, I don't know what build you an agency means to you, but I do know what the guarantee of $100,000 a month is. It's $100,000 a month. That's what it is, right? If this guy had a process that could guarantee that he could build you $100,000 a month agencies, why would he even make that? Why would he even offer that? Just do it yourself. Do it for yourself 10 times. Right? So you got to be able to think critically. But the point is this. Alex Hormozy in that big webinar is a perfect example of the race to the bottom mentality that everybody does in the coaching internet, in our space. I'm just going to call it our space. The race to the bottom mentality, which is, funnily enough, the only predictable outcome of direct response marketing. Direct response marketing by itself can only go to the bottom. So what do? How do you get out of that race to the bottom where you're under pressure to make increasingly ludicrous promises, right? And increasingly misleading, knock, 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 that's the FTC on the door, increasingly misleading claims and all the little ways, you know what I'm talking about, all the little ways that you can shade the truth, right? And sort of spin things. But let me ask you something. Is that really what you want to do? Or, motherfucker, are you here to help people? I want to know, like really, what do you want to do? And I would go so far as to say, if your answer isn't a resounding, I'm here to help people, you can get your ass out of my group. I don't want you here. And I'm being serious here. I don't want anything to do with you. And I think if you know me at all, you know that that's true. So I'm going to assume from here on out, I'm talking to ethical, responsible, morally driven people. For those of you that are those things, what you're missing is the personal brand dynamic, the element of a personal brand. What's a personal brand? Well, we talked about this for a second and I alluded to it, and now I'm going to go deep into it. First of all, again, to reiterate, your personal brand is not your website. It is not your logo. It's not your color palette. I have said in the past that your personal brand is what people say, think, and feel about you behind your back. It's literally, what is the promise that you make to the world? What's the promise you make that if you break that promise, you can't live with yourself? You've got to identify that. You've got to identify. Steve Jobs broke it down amazingly, mind-blowingly good. Steve Jobs said, at the bottom of it all, a brand is a clear declaration of your values. Now, why is that important? Well, it's important for this reason. Because right now, in the eyes, the minds, and the hearts of your potential prospects, the people that should be paying you, working with you, getting your expert help, and having their lives become better as a result of it, the problem is they don't know the first thing about you, right? And you've heard the expression, people do business with people like them, or people do business with people they like, or whatever the expression is, right? The bottom line is this. In a day and age, right now, today, this age, where we can choose from 100 people that basically do what you do, what do you think is going to tip our decision? What do you think is going to tip the decision to go with Joe over Jay and Lisa over Lori? It's going to be how we feel about you as a person. You've got to get this part. Now, I'm gonna pick a couple of people who have probably the best personal brands in the world, and I'm going to talk about them from the perspective of how they use their personal brands. So if I say these names and you get all pissed off, I got news for you. It just means their personal brand is working. Okay? Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Hell, let's throw Bill Gates in there while we're at it. Although I don't think Bill Gates really deliberately spends time on his personal brand. He certainly has one, doesn't he? Can you think of any others? So think of them, put them in the chat. But here's the thing. And I'm so in awe of this. If it wasn't for Elon Musk's personal brand, the Cybertruck, which you may love or hate, and that's irrelevant here. Put your feelings aside and listen to what I'm saying from the perspective of a professional who wants to get better at what they do, right? This is not the time for feelings. This is the time for learning how to create feelings in other people. If Elon Musk didn't have the personal brand he had, it would not have worked to create a vehicle that doesn't even have the Tesla logo on it anywhere. Think about that for a second. He created, among many other things, he created a vehicle so iconic, it could have only come from him. He created a vehicle so iconic that whether you like it or hate it, you are not indifferent to it. Can you do that? Can you create a value proposition, a clear declaration of what you stand for, and more importantly, what you stand against, that is so clear and so well understood by people that they instantly get it every time they see you? See, that's what a brand is. That's what your personal brand is. It's doing the strategic, deep, focused work so that you create basically a persona of yourself, which is more just it's just a focused in version of yourself that people immediately, like a Pavlovian response, associate with what you want them to associate it with. Let me see if I can say that a little more simply. The reason your personal brand is really no more than a declaration of your values, a declaration of your commitment, your promise to people, is because you need to create an association in the minds of people that when they see your name, they immediately think this person agrees with me on this, this, and this. This is the person who I align with in terms of values and in terms of mission and in terms of the promise, right? And that's why, for me, truth over profits is so effective. It's a good personal brand. And why? Well, because first of all, it's something I deeply feel. Okay, let me just take an aside here and say, if you try to create a bullshit personal brand identity, it will backfire on you. Straight up. You can't maintain a fakeness throughout all of your content and your marketing and your promotions and your showing up for your audience. You can't. If you can, you're the greatest sociopath the world has ever known. So congratulations, I guess. But for the rest of us, you've got to drill down and down and down until you get one crystalline, distilled, impossibly elegant notion that clearly identifies who you are, what you stand for, what you stand against, what your core business values are, and what your promise is, right? When that happens and people start to associate you with those things, a wonderful thing starts happening. The people you don't want start pushing away from you because they don't want to be part of that. The people that you like and you want start gravitating toward you because that's exactly what they want and like. I'm going to break here for questions or comments or whatever. So let's see what we got first. Okay, let's see what we got first. Guru. Yeah, I don't know who that is. If you're a friend, ha, ha, ha. If you're not a friend, go fuck yourself. What else we got? Shit emoji. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. Go. I don't know what that means. Russell's next book working title is The Final Funnel. Yeah, you're only one funnel away from the next book promising you something about the funnel after the one that you're away from. Anyway, so we've broken for questions. That was fun, whatever. Let me give you now the exact process for how you can identify. Oh, hold on. Rob Garcia says, is being hated a good branding strategy? Yes, unfortunately it is, unless you're universally hated, But I mean, weirdly, and I don't want to go too far into the weeds on this, even Hitler isn't universally hated. So, let's put it this way. Not being afraid to be hated by some is a good branding strategy. It's part of it. Yeah, think Trump or Ty. Yeah, exactly. So here's the part where I give you exactly what to do to start isolating your personal brand, your value statement, the thing you stand for, the thing that you're willing to get in the ring about. And you gotta understand this. Robert, my brother, you are, of course, welcome. If you're not willing to defend what you stand for, then you don't really have a meaningful value statement, a meaningful personal brand. Okay, so here's what I want you to do now. Let me get the comments out of here. There we go. If you haven't already got a pen and paper, get it now, because I'm going to break down for you the process of how you can start to identify what your personal brand is. First, on a piece of paper, make an exhaustive list, and Robert would be great for this, of professionally in your space. I want you to list every person, every company, every sort of commonly held belief, every trend that you know to be BS, you know to be wrong. Every person, every existing brand, every idea that you stand against, all of them, and really empty the tank on this. Really, really go full in on this. One Facebook user says, Manny, with exclamation points. I wish I could see your face, because then I would say, whoever you are, but I appreciate the energy. I really do. Thank you. So first thing, really empty the tank. What call bullshit on it. Like the people, the brands, the ideas, the philosophies, everything in your space that you know to be wrong, that you stand against. Typically what happens when I take people through this exercise is they start equivocating and they start getting like uncomfortable with just making a declaration. Like, I'll give you one for me. I was a huge Tony Robbins fan growing up. And his early stuff really did help me. Now I can't stand him. Why can't I stand him? Because he walks side by side with people like Dean Graziosi and Russell Brunson. And I don't trust those guys. Full stop. I don't care who knows, right? And I'm willing to defend that. I do not trust them. Why don't I trust them? Well, in the case of Russell and ClickFunnels, I watched ClickFunnels screw me over on a campaign that I was running, and then their so-called help just like laughed me and my ads guy out of the room, and my ads guy got pissed off and went into the ClickFunnels users group, started saying what was happening, and got kicked out and blocked. So we got kicked out of the ClickFunnels users group for bringing verifiable, reasonable, and logical complaints and asking for help. Think about that for a minute. What does that say about your personal brand? If you can't have someone who is nothing compared to you in terms of success complaining justifiably about your service, and because you're the brand, remember. So anybody who does anything in that group as an admin or as a moderator is acting on your behalf. And we got kicked out of the group and blocked. So that's why. That's all I need to know, right? I am very much, once bitten, twice shy. The thing with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi is really more of, I know all the manipulation stuff. I know what it looks like when it's happening. And Dean is, every time I see him on camera, it's just 100%. It's like all the manipulative emotional hooks. And I just don't trust the guy. So all of that is to say that you have to be willing to stand up for the things that you say you don't like. Like, you've got to be willing to defend your position and do it publicly. Otherwise, you don't have a personal brand. Because most important to us as people who are considering whether we align with you or not is, do we agree on the things that we don't like? That's actually more important, more potent than we agree on the things we do like. Second is we agree on the things we do like. So once you got that first list, and it needs to be long. If you come back with a list of 4 or 5 things, you're not really giving it what it deserves. So that's the first part. The second part is create a list of the people, the places, the ideas that you really love. Then in a third list, really, really go deep into, what do you stand for? What are your actual values? Because the idea is that, especially with a personal brand, the values of your brand have to be congruent with the values you hold. How could it be otherwise? So once you get all 3 of these lists really exhausted, like deeply written, you'll start to have a picture. A picture will start to emerge of what your position in the market is. Now, here's the last thing. You've got to work the wording until it's powerfully emotional. Now, that may not sound like a lot, but I assure you, it's not going to be that easy. And so let me talk a little bit then. Okay, we've gone into the how to do it, right? So let me say something here. If you actually do this work and you want me to give you a free audit of your personal brand, just reach out to me. But here's the thing. You have to be ready to show me you've done the work. You show me you've done the work, I'll give you a free personal brand audit, and we'll help you sort of dial in everything so that you can stand out. Now, having said that, let me go back up to the sort of 1,000-foot view. And I'm going to tell you how this works, the mechanics of why your personal brand is almost certainly the thing you're missing in your ability to make your offers sing and people raise their hand for you and all of that stuff. Remember to look at the situation from the eyes of a prospect, not the eyes of someone trying to sell something. And if you can do that, you'll start to see, because as a prospect, you gravitate towards people who don't come across to you, they don't feel to you like everybody else. Make sense? Let me see here. Somebody said it's simple, not easy, and that is spot on. Robert Garcia said, breaking news, Dean Graciosi court ordered to never sell wealth programs again. There you go. There you go. Somebody else said my top three are Manny, Rob, and Des DeBreva. That is huge. Thank you. Don't know who you are. Wish I did. I'm a big fan of kind words. Always come with the mindset of what problem do I solve? That's right. But deeper than that. It's deeper than that, you guys. It's not just what problem do I solve and why. Because there are 1,000 other people that solve that problem too. And until you can differentiate yourself based on your values, your statement of values and promise, you're going to be compared by features and price. And when you compare by features and price, oh, hey, Mark, okay, gotcha. When you compare by features and price, you're automatically in a race to the bottom, because the only way to compete is to add more features, which costs you money, or lower the price, which costs you money. Right? It's the only thing you can do. You really only have two ways you can go. You can nail this personal brand piece and remove yourself from the crowd so that you're seen as a unique solution, or you can keep competing on features and price and race to the bottom. You do not want to race to the bottom, guys. You do not want to do it. Okay? So listen. Whether you've paid attention or not is a question I can't answer. But if you have, this has been the information that can change the game for you. Now, that's what I do, right? In fact, I like to say sometimes that if you didn't have any money at all and you really needed to know how to start making money as a coach, you could comb through everything I've posted on my wall and you could find the exact step-by-step process of how to do that. It's right there for free. If you want my help with it, I'd love to give you my help with it. All you have to do is reach out to me and say, let's talk about this, or whatever. Just say something. Tell me you want my help and we'll talk about it. And if you want to retain me for my help, I can pretty much promise you results unless you don't follow through, right? I mean, the process is not esoteric. The process is not mysterious. The process is pretty scientific. And that's why I'm comfortable saying when you do the work, you'll get the results. So with that in mind, I'm going to give you a simple call to action here. If you'd like to learn more about how I can help you to scale, to grow, to get more clients, right? Just to live a good life as a service provider, all you have to do is reach out to me. And look, it's my group. I'm easy to find. You can tag me in a post in the group if you want. You can come into my messenger if you want, whatever. And just say, let's talk. Yeah, just let me know what you're here to talk about. And we're good to go. Let's see what else we got here. Great insight and info as always. Thank you. What do you mean by values and promise? I hope I answered that. Always come with the mindset of what problem do I solve? We talked about that. Manny won't bite, I promise. That's true. I'm well, yeah. I was a biter as a kid, though. If you got me as a little kid, I'd bite the skin right off your arm. Not anymore, though. So thank you guys for tuning in. I had a nice turnout here, and I'm glad to see it. And, as always, like I want to help you. I want to see you succeed. But there's only so much I can do, right? My ability to help stops at the water's edge. You got to take action. Taking action often feels uncomfortable. You got to be willing to go through that discomfort. There's just things that you can't sidestep. You can't get around some of these things. With that in mind, I'm gonna sign off. If you'd like my help, just notify me. You know how to do it, right? You know how to do it, and I'd love to help you. Whether it's full on scaling or just learning how you can get 5, 6, 7 new clients a month every month. Whatever it is, I'm here to help. You just have to let me know. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.